Alright, welcome back to the channel. Working on a 2014 Toyota Tacoma. I've been asked to do CV axles. The left side here, it's supposedly getting a bunch of clicking and popping. So we're going to do the CV axle. We're also going to be replacing the whole strut there. And we're going to be doing just shocks on the back. So we're going to work through this. Shouldn't be too difficult. Thankfully, Toyota engineers are actually halfway decent in comparison to some things I've worked on. So all we gotta do is get the 3 nuts off the top of the tower. Gotta get the through bolt off down there. Probably gonna have to get off our sway bar link. And then Toyota makes this a little easy, I guess, in some ways. Since to get the CV axle out, you could A, pull the upper ball joint. You could pull the lower ball joint if you really wanted to. But Toyota makes life easy, and all you gotta do is pull out this bolt here on this side, and then there's one right there on the other side. Zip them off, and then the whole upper section is free from the lower ball joint. Super cool design. Wish a lot of other manufacturers would do that. So we're doing same thing on the other side. CV axles, and we'll call them struts. So that's the plan. I'm going to get to it here. And bring you along as I do it, I guess. Alright, fast forward here. I got 2. I got 1 just kind of hanging out here, keeping it up there in case it tries to fall out, which I highly doubt is going to happen. Got bracket loose here. Holds ABS sensor wire. Holds your hard line to your caliper. It's a 12 millimeter. Get that kind of unbolted there. Of course, get your stabilizer link. Get that off. I had to use a pair of vice grips right here on the inside, and use an impact socket on the outside. I think it was, what size did I use? Like a 17 is what I used on that. I got the bolt here. It's a 19 on this side. I got the nut off there. It's going to be difficult because, of course, it's in a, it's a bushing with a metal sleeve that, doesn't have any sort of anti-corrosion on it. So it's going to be difficult. I just spray it down. I ended up getting lucky. Used a 19 millimeter on the other side on the nut. Used my impact, and it's almost out. I just have to finish getting it the rest of the way out. Got the dust cover off here, popped it off, just used a screwdriver, chisel, something. Try not to ding it up too much. It's there's a little lip. Show you on the other side real quick. There's just a little lip right here. You want to try and get this piece of black off. So I just used a screwdriver and just worked my way around it. And I just kind of came in, used a lug nut to kind of brace it, and I just used just the edge. Just kind of came in here with the pointy edge. Just came in like this, just the edge, got in there, popped it, other side, and worked my way around it. That kind of did the trick for me. I already got the bolts out of the bottom, which are these. 19 mils is what I used. And then, as I said, pop comes right away from the lower control arm. So that's that. Alright, we're gonna continue on here. I'm down to, I think this was a 35 millimeter axle nut for the CV axle. Cotter key, pull the retainer off. and it was kind of stuck-ish in there, so I did have to use a hammer and kind of free it up to push it through. So now I'm just going to finish the process of maneuvering this out of my way the best I can. I might even, I think I will. I think I'm going to take the caliper off so I don't have to worry about damaging this since this is all still attached. So I'm just going to take the caliper off, save myself some headache. Give me some free room to move, because once I get this off, then I can swing the whole thing and like ratchet strap it out of the way or something. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, so taking the caliper off was kind of the ticket. Also had to take off the main bracket there. There's another little 10mm bolt that held your ABS wire on, so you can swing your whole control arm out of the way. I just got a ratchet strap going back there through the hole of the caliper bolt hole there. Got that pulled off to the side, totally out of my way. Sway bar bracket out of my way, caliper hanging, everything's out of my way now. So now we just have CV axle to deal with. And once we get that out, that'll give me tons of room to get to the bolt hiding back there. To get this out, there is spaces designed right on the CV axle right here. This is kind of like where you put whatever you're going to hit it with. I'm just going to use a pry bar. So that's what I'm going to hit it there. Just kind of keep turning it and hit it. And it should come out. So that's where we're at. We're going to get that out, get that bolt out, and then we're going to get that off. The strut tower out, and then reverse the operation, put it all back together. Alright, progress here. So turn on this. There we go, it works. We got it in there, through the nuts on there. I did end up having to get this kind of to move over and out. This ended up working out. It's just kind of staying there. Caliper ended up being in the way a little bit. Just gotta move it around as you're working. As you see, there's lots of space here. We'll need something to push down on the lower control arm. I happen to have this 36-inch Pittsburgh pry bar. I basically just stuck it like right here, and then kind of use the air off of that so it doesn't fall off. So now you've got all this distance, and basically just sit on it, you know. And then that basically frees this bolt up a lot, and then I can slide it in and slide it out, get the pressure off of it, because those bushings are pretty good. Those bushings got a lot of tension on them. So that's how I got that off, and got that off, pushed down out of the way because I had to bring it this way and out. Now my 1-ton Duramax actually has the way it's set up, I could have pushed it down like out, but anyways, actually that's for a CV axle. But and the CV axle came out, pry bar, and BFH hammer, same thing, just here's the new one, just hammered right here on the hammer spots until it came out. That's about all you can do, because you can't pull it, because all you're going to do is basically pull it apart. You have to work it from that spot. Alright, well that's that. I'm going to get that bolt tightened up some, get those tightened up some, and get the new CV axle rammed in the hole, and we'll go from there. Alright, CV axle, slid that in, line it up back there, and hardest part is getting it lined up with the teeth. Put it in and hold it as straight as you can. There's no tricks to it. And once you get it lined up, you gotta push it in there. You gotta get past the clip. Gotta get that. There's let's see if I can show you on the old one. This one's a little dinged up, but there's this little metal clip right here. You got to get that to compress and want to go in there. The only way I found to do that, basically just get dirty. I got some fluid film already sprayed on this, and I sprayed the other side with fluid film as well, even though it's got gear oil in there, is because when you push it in, it bottoms out. So I use that to my advantage, whether right or wrong, and use it as a micro slide hammer, and then just turn it. If it doesn't go in after a couple hits, turn it. And we're not talking like a whole lot of like, you know, eighth turn, quarter turn, like we're talking like a tenth of an inch, like just like a tooth. Like just a little bit. Tap it a couple more times. Turn it just a little bit. Tap it a couple more times. Inches, because I mean, that's how far apart the teeth are. You just got to get them to line up. And then eventually, you'll get it, and it will just go, boop. It'll just pop right in. Alright, and then that's done, and then I have to look up torque specs for the lower, the upper, look up torque specs for that, torque specs for this, torque specs for the caliper bracket, all the good stuff, but it's probably about an hour, if you've done this a bunch, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours aside. I've been at it on and off, about 2 hours, I'd say about maybe an hour, hour and a half right now, kind of stopping, you know, skipping through the playlist, etc., etc. Easy weekend job, basic hand tools at this point. Obviously, cordless impact stuff makes life a little bit easier, but that's where we're at. Alright, conclude this video here. Got everything back together. Yeah, never mind, can't turn it because it's on the jack. But start off with this. Here are the torque specs. 173 CV axle, 91 on the caliper bolts, 47 foot-pound on the strut 3 strut top bolts, 61 foot-pound on the bolt going through the bottom on the strut on the control arm side, and then the lower control arm at 118 foot-pounds where the lower ball joint is. Tap this back on, use a rubber mallet so I didn't ding it up too much. So, and then in my case, I'm on a got a small lift. Everything is drooped down too far to get back on that stabilizer link, so I just I have a jack here. I just threw it under the, jacked it up, got it all squared away. Things torqued down and tight to factory spec. Got everything, got anti-seize on some things and Loctite on like the I got orange Loctite on the bottom 2 bolts here. Holds like red, comes off like blue is what they say. But yep, this job is done. Thanks to everyone who has followed along. And I'm gonna call it a night. Since it's a Friday night, I'm gonna go and get the other side done tomorrow, and along with the rear shocks. Thanks for watching.